I'm Serafina. From the mountains to the sea, that's where you'll find me. Follow me on my journey as I get outside and go exploring. You can follow along on my blog at serafinahikes.com and on Instagram. Links are in the description below. When you're heading into the wilderness solo, it's important to take your time in planning your trip. I was constantly testing my endurance in the months leading up to this adventure, hiking just about every day. I hiked through Los Penasquitos Canyon, which was about 14 miles, the day before the trip began. So here's my adventure on the Trans Catalina Trail. Hope you enjoy. I took the ferry from San Pedro to Avalon. The same ferry would pick me up in 2 harbors and return me here back to San Pedro. The Catalina Trail was something I wanted to do to challenge myself. The hike is about 40 miles long, stretching from the southern end of Catalina Island at Hermit Gulch to Parsons Landing on the north side. This trip would be a test of my endurance. If I could hike for 3 days alone, maybe I could hike for an entire week and 100 miles or more. Solo hiking would be the ultimate test of this. It was a time to heal from my past and a way to seek a brighter future. The hike was about starting over in my life and having faith over fear. I had big thru hiker dreams. So here is my story of solo backpacking the Trans Catalina Trail over 3 days. I hope you enjoy. My hike began a mile from the ferry terminal at Hermit Gulch campground. The trail marker for the TCT. to bushwhack down that steep hill. So I ended up arriving at the campground in the dark around 7 p.m. and setting up my tent in the dark. I woke up in the morning and it had rained all over my tent, so it took me about an hour to dry my tent out. I had breakfast and I got on the trail about 8 a.m. I soon passed the airport in the sky, which serves breakfast and lunch. It seemed most of the hikers from Blackjack had stopped there, but I kept moving since I had 15 miles of hiking to do.
Oh my God, it's so beautiful.
I know.
You guys like hiking in the pictures?
Along the way from Blackjack Campground were mostly barren, rolling hills flecked with oak trees. I passed by a large group of women hiking who were lost since they had run out of power on their phones, so I helped point them in the right direction. My next stop was Little Harbor, and after that, 2 harbors, 15 miles away, where I would set up camp. I had to book my campsites in advance, so I had to estimate how far I was able to hike and decided that I could make it there. The trail was a single track most of the way. It was overcast, making for a perfect hiking morning. It would be about 8 miles to Little Harbor, where most of the hikers will camp on a beautiful secluded beach. This would be my next water source. Hikers will fill their water up at the spigots at each of the campgrounds, and there are no water sources in between. There were plenty of picnic tables and empty campsites around the beach area when I arrived. I decided to have a lunch break and make rice, ramen, miso soup. It was a bit chilly, so a cup of warm soup hit the spot. It was a pretty big climb from Little Harbor up onto the hillsides on my way to Two Harbors. Felt like I was climbing forever on the way up these sea cliffs. This last 8 miles to Two Harbors was very challenging, but so beautiful. It was probably the highlight of my trip. I was so grateful when I reached another of the many picnic structures somewhere near the high point. Caught a glimpse of Two Harbors down below. I was now at a point of exhaustion as I hiker hobbled my way into town passing Cat Harbor. I headed straight to the Harbor Grill for a veggie burger. Two Harbors is such a quaint little town. The veggie burger I had was delicious and it really hit the spot. I sat there on the patio enjoying it for about an hour before heading over to the campground, passing by the Catalina ferry dock. I had just about an hour left to set up my tent at the Two Harbors campground. My plan was to hike 11 miles from Two Harbors in a loop to Parsons Landing and back to Two Harbors. I had an extra night booked at Two Harbors because I didn't know how long this would actually take. So I left my stuff at my campsite and headed off with my day pack around 6 a.m. at Starlight Beach trailhead, and it's closed. This part of the hike was pretty neat, heading through an interesting pine forest. I had not seen any bison along this stretch and was grateful for that. I could see Parsons Landing in the distance up ahead and was excited since it was mostly all downhill from here. This was the steepest section of the entire hike where I slid down practically on my butt. The majority of the challenging part of this hike was now over. This section of the trail was filled with grassy meadows. There were two ways to get to Parsons Landing from here. I would stay to the left, taking the TCT onto Parsons Landing. I came to a second turnoff, heading to Starlight Beach, the original terminus of the TCT. Now it is officially Parsons Landing. It's about 9 miles round trip from the turnoff to Starlight Beach. I arrived at Parsons Landing and found it deserted, and I was surprised because I heard the campground was completely full. So now I had it all to myself. I would pass through my very last bison gate of the whole trail. I had just 8 miles to go to get back to Two Harbors after having hiked 6 miles so far already. It would be smooth sailing and mostly flat along a wide, unpaved road all the way back to Two Harbors. Even though it was a fire road on the way back, it was very scenic and there were tons of little coves. The water was so blue, and everywhere you looked there were little sailboats docked offshore and tons of little places people stay and camp out. It was 2:30 p.m. when I made it back. I had hiked 40 miles along the TCT. I headed back to pack up my tent at the campground and made it to the 4 p.m. ferry. I filmed this adventure as a newbie solo backpacker in 2021 during the pandemic. For me, this solo trek was about having faith over fear. I now had confidence that anything I wanted to accomplish in life was possible with faith.